Hey y'all, it's Tranny Granny again. How y'all doing tonight? Well, I'm still talking about Jazz Jennings with all of these trolls that keep commenting. I've learned that those people have no respect for any of us. Any of us, regardless. They're using Jazz as an example of someone who has made a mistake, even though she's never admitted to making a mistake. Things have not been easy. There's been problems. Eventually things will be corrected. But they're using that. The right wing are using her. They're the main thing. And a lot of these people, I believe, that have been giving me trouble, I believe a lot of those people are the people I was talking about that use her on their channels for clicks. Because they've said, if she kills herself, it has nothing to do with those people. Nothing whatsoever. It's the problem her mother created. If you have that much empathy for someone that you know is having a bad problem, a bad time, and you go inching it in, make it a little worse so that you can make some money, then you're a son of a bitch. Well, I believe that a lot of you don't know my story. When I tell you that you don't know what I've been through, because I'm sure you haven't went back and watched any of my videos where I explain my situation. You can go back on my channel and look for Woman Once Removed. It's a whole series of me telling my story. But for those of you that are too lazy to go over there and look for it, I was born December the 25th, 1956. My parents had been wanting a girl, but my mother had been warned to have a hysterectomy because she was having female problems. She had already miscarried twice. So they put her on an experimental medication called disocebestrol. Their claim was that it would help keep down miscarriages. But what they didn't learn until many years later is it did wind up cutting down on miscarriages if the fetus was female. But usually, male fetuses still aborted. And those few male fetuses that made it to term came feminized. Of course, the skeletal frame was male, but everything on top of that was female. My genitals were not fully developed. And this sounds gross, but the penis was so small. And it was not above the scrotum. It was inside of it. It's like the testicles formed labia lips, and the little penis was inside of that. So technically I was male. But what was I to do about that? How was I supposed to use that in any way? Plus, all of my muscle mass and everything was like a female. I had hips and thighs and a round butt, and I started developing boobs whenever I was a teenager. It was awful. I remember the last time my mother took me to the pediatrician when I was 16, and he did a hormone count. He said that my male hormones were so far down that they almost were not registering. And his suggestion was to put me on male hormones. Thank God that didn't happen, because all that would do was have messed my body up, because the brain was already developed, and it wasn't anything to change that. So you see, I never grew any male muscle mass, muscles like a man has. I never developed facial or body hair. Hell, until I was 50 years old, I had a baby face. I could go anywhere. The way I considered my transition and surgery was correcting a birth defect. And I went on. I went on as if I had been natural born female. And once it was over, my family saw it that way. And my mother, she did not like the idea of me having anything to do with any kind of trans people. She said, "You're a woman. You're not like those people." But see, I didn't know anything about the hormones she was taking until the day before I went to have my surgery. She was going to keep that from me. She was hoping that I would be able to somehow stay like I was. She was hoping, somehow. But when she realized I was going, so she told me. And it was those hormones that the doctor had put her on to keep from miscarrying. So see, when you call me a man, I was one fucked up man. So you begrudge me some kind of life. You couldn't take that away from me. No. You could never take that away from me. Because once I had my surgery at 20 years old, I went on with my life like I had been born that way. I did, and I enjoyed my life. And I've been successful in my life as a female. As a male, I was nothing. I was nothing. I hated myself. I hated my life. I would have probably committed suicide. And if not, I would have been this freaky, weird man that they talked about that lived at home with his mama all her life. That's what I would have been. But no, I didn't do that. I went out and lived my life. And I held my head up. And I did anything I thought I wanted to do. And I went anywhere I wanted to go. And I never told people that I was trans. No. Why should I? Now, my first husband knew. And the second husband did not know until towards the end of the marriage. And I did tell him then. And we stayed together another 2 years. So, if somebody really knows you, and they know who you are on the inside, not so much on the outside, but on the inside, they know you. They know the person you are. He did not hold that against me. He understood that that was who I was, and I didn't want anybody to see me in any other way. Well, that last one he knew. I told him to begin with. But still, that didn't hold anybody together. 18 years, but... So, yeah. This is what my life is. And Jazz, she has a right to be able to go on with her life in any way that she can. Because I do believe she has, not had, she still here with us, that she has a transsexual brain. She may be in a sexual turmoil. But see, I can understand, like, how she's feeling because of the low sperm count, the low male hormones in my body, I didn't mature as a man. I did not mature sexually. No. I never really developed a sexual drive. I know that I like men enough to know that if I've got to have sex, it's going to be with a man. Because that just feels natural to me. But as far as having a sexual desire, no. If I fall in love with somebody, I develop a sexual appetite. And then I enjoy sex. And I've learned to really enjoy sex using what I have because I didn't have sex before. No, I couldn't. There was nothing that I could use. So you begrudge me that, having something, and being proud of it, that I can do that. People think that people like us should keep our mouths shut and sit in the back somewhere and say, fuck you. No, I'm just as good as anybody. So, you're not stopping me. I will continue to go and do and shake things up until they put me in the crematorium. So y'all keep checking back because Granny Manny, I said that, Granny Manny. Granny is going to continue to shake shit up. Granny loves y'all. Even you haters out there. Because I know y'all.